Hey everybody, I'm Jason from So Percussion, and we're getting our Brooklyn Bound podcast going again for our next November Brooklyn Bound show. Very, very pumped about it. And one of my new friends and collaborators and participant in this last remote SOSI, we're going to talk to Yeon today, and she is in Oakland. How's it going, Soo-yeon?
Hi,
You
Jason.
You doing good? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we always do all the catching up before I press record.
cool.
But it's just nice to catch up with people
Mhm.
in these podcasts. So we'll do that a little bit. But I think I told you I have these kind of same 5 questions that I ask of everyone. Um, and actually, you know what? A lot of these Brooklyn Bound podcasts recently have been people who I feel like are new friends
Mhm.
and we met over Zoom.
Mm.
It's strange, right? I have a collection of people now in my life that we've met in the last 8 months. And we met this July, and I'm so happy to have met you. Let me ask my first question because I don't think I know this backstory of yours. Um, how did you become a musician? What was your beginnings as a musician?
Oh, musician. So first, I started to play piano when I was 3 years old. Then I play violin when I was 12. Then I quit music. Then I focused just to study. Then I always wanted to go back to play some music. Then I met this amazing instrument, hegum. Then yeah, I become a hegum performer.
When did you meet the Heckham? I love that you said you met this instrument. It's so
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah,
When did you all meet?
it was. I was 16. Yeah, it's pretty late compared to my colleagues who plays an instrument. But yeah.
So you kind of took 4 years. You were playing the violin up
Hmm.
until 12. Excuse me, and then you took a few years off. And then how did you learn about the instrument? How did
Well,
you learn about the Hegum?
actually, I haven't seen this instrument before I first played, and my mom suggested, "Oh, how about this time? How about play any Korean traditional instrument?" And I prefer violin than piano, so she suggests, "Oh, how about the Hege, which is only bowed, actually one of two, the bow instrument." So yeah, it clicked.
That's awesome. And can you tell just I know so much about the Hegum now from our time at Soci. Not really. But I just know every time we did a project together, everybody would say, more Hegum, more Hegum. It's such a
Mhm.
beautiful instrument. But what can you tell us about the instrument? What is the Hegum?
Actually, Hegum is two-stringed bowed instrument. The origin is from long time ago from Persia, and the interesting thing about Hegum is in South Korea, of course, the North Korea also have their own version of Hegum, but the South Korea Hegum is a very we haven't much changed it. Like we still have silk strings, but compared to North Korean one, because they change it to the violin strings, like steel
Mm,
string, metal string. So it has, and also add two more strings. So the North Korean one has four strings, and they take out the bow. So the Hagen's bow is always stuck between two strings. So the North Korean one looks like a vertical violin,
mm.
but Hegum still has a keep very original form. And then, so I really love about the timbre because the strings are made of twisted silk. So when I play, I can do very wide vibrato because it's
Mm,
the string is more has more tensions.
mhm.
So yeah, I can make very wide, deep vibrato. So I love to play it.
Yeah, well, I know just listening to any piece you were playing this summer, it feels so vocal. The instrument to me feels very like I would always be tricked. Like, who's singing? Oh wow, that's that's Suyeon. Like, where's that sound coming from? It always sounded so vocal. Um, what do you mean the bow is stuck between the two strings?
So can I just grab
Yeah, 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 yeah,
right
of
next to
course.
me? Okay.
Oh yeah, please.
So this is again.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I see. So the bow is it's not two pieces. It's kind of it's connected.
Uh-huh.
Or, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So the horse hair. Yeah. So
awesome.
there's a story a long time ago because people used to play while they're traveling riding horse, so
Mm,
not to lose bow. So they kind of
awesome. Yeah,
yeah invented this yeah
that's amazing.
situation. Yeah.
And do you like depending on how you pull the bow,
Hmm.
you can bow either string by kind of pulling or pushing or
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So
do you ever play the two strings together?
yeah. Oh,
Right, like
fingering always I do press both strings
right,
together, but I switch the angle of the bow.
right,
So
right,
when I play the outer string, I push,
right.
and then when I play inner string, I yeah pull towards me. Yeah.
Amazing. And so from if just the kind of the history of Suyan, the quick history, or not too quick history, the history of Suyan. So you met the instrument at 16,
Hmm.
and then what were your studies like? Was it did you go to school for the Hegum, or just have you, learned by yourself, or what was your process from in Korea 16 the Hegum to in Oakland now?
Yeah. So I played 2 3 years, and then I entered the university and Korean traditional music department, and I my major was Hagen performance. So in my school, I went to Seoul National University, and then our department, the one grade, the total the students are 30, and then only 3 students played major was Hagen.
Right.
And yeah, then I did master's and PhD in same school, like Seoul National University. Then I became a member of orchestra. The orchestra, which is called Gugak National, Gugak means traditional music, Korean music, and
Mm,
Gugak National Orchestra. And it has very long history, like the hundreds, few hundreds. And then our orchestra, we have 4 different troop. The court music, traditional court music, and traditional folk music, and dance. Then I I was a foundation member of New Music Orchestra.
cool.
So I worked there for 12 years. Then while I was a member there, I had 2 sabbatical. The first one was 2011, and I went to Hawaii. So I was a visiting scholar at University of Hawaii at the ethnomusicology department. Then there, I first collaborated with the foreign composers.
Mm.
Mhm.
Awesome. With
Then
like students at the university or
no faculties. There
oh
are
yeah,
two
of course.
faculties. Yeah, they're so
Cool.
yeah, they're very popular in Korea now. So recently, I went to one of composers um, Zoom conference, and then he said so far he composed almost 50 pieces for traditional instruments. So,
Oh,
yeah.
cool. That's amazing.
Mhm. And then second sabbatical, which is 2015, I moved to Bay Area as a visiting scholar at UC Berkeley. Mm,
Awesome.
then yeah, then
And did you go back or did you just stay?
my original plan was because it was just 1 year
Mm.
sabbatical, and then my orchestra job is kind of tenure. I could be there like a 60-year-old. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so my original plan was yeah, collaborate with more Bay Area composers here and then go back to Korea. But I had much more project here, which was more fun to me because yeah, just simply imagine because as an orchestra member for 10 years, which was good experience to me. But at that point, I really wanted to make my own music instead of following the conductor or right.
Yeah,
So
I hear you.
yeah, so I just quit and then I moved here. Then after UC Berkeley, I was a scholar in residence at the Mills College, and 1.5 year, 2 years, I collaborate at the Mills composers and improvisers.
Oh, awesome. That's amazing. I bet we have lots of friends in common from Mills a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Um, I know I remember this summer you saw my friend Cenk Ergun, and I feel like maybe Mills, was that your connection to Cenk? Was it Mills?
Uh, Also, John Reno, the
Sure, sure, sure. Okay,
uh,
cool.
she is my mentor. And then
Mm,
one day she introduced the Chenk's music to me, and
mhm.
I really liked it. And then I contacted him.
Oh, awesome. That's great. He's one of my oldest musical friends.
Mm,
Um, yeah, from we were in university at the same time, so
mm,
um, yeah, I love Jank. Um, well, so cool. I want to talk about what you're playing on the Brooklyn Bound show, but also before we do that, just the music that you make in general. I think you've kind of told us your degree is in performance, but
mhm.
you do lots of collaborations and improvisation and composition. Yeah. So what are you working on right now in general, or um, what's your practice like these days?
Um, yeah, at school, because my old degrees, including DMA, was about the Hagen performance and Korean musicology. Then when I moved to Bay Area, I started to improvise and collaborate with awesome improvisers together. Then I started to compose. So now, especially this year, uh, regarding to all this situation, I tried to write more music.
Mm.
And yeah, so mhm.
Yeah. Well, that was actually oftentimes one of my later questions has to do with just what your life these last 8 months has been just so different in so many ways. I mean, and um, I'm sure your apartment or your house or very well now, right? Like I'm in this room like all the time. I think this summer when we hung out, I was in this room zooming with you, and so it feels like I imagine your practice as a performer is um, so social, like with other people making projects. So
Mhm.
how has your practice been different these last few months? It sounds like maybe you're composing more music
Mhm.
or
So the plans was kind of become no plan because
yeah.
yeah, some premieres were canceled or
Mm,
it postponed. Then instead, a new project like Brooklyn Bound or Soci,
mm,
and I have another project with Kronos Quartet,
mm.
which will be the 1 week from Brooklyn Bound.
Oh,
So
great.
other opportunities came, and yeah, so I oh yeah, enjoy. I try to enjoy.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, I spend more time to learn new things like video editing, sound editing, and yeah, which became new normal. People say like that.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's true. I think so much like what will we keep from this time? What skills will we be excited to keep in our practice, and what will we be so excited to leave leave behind, What's can you tell us about the new Kronos project?
So it is interesting project because we never met,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
I mean since yeah pandemic, and then I was in Korea over the summer, and then Kronos members were still stay here in Bay Area, and then we rehearsed and recorded through Zoom.
Mm,
And then I had to edit sound and video editing later. So the process itself was so different.
mhm.
Mhm.
Are you playing with him? Is it a quintet?
Yes, it's clean.
Cool. I imagine that would be so great. Well, I'm very excited to see it. That you said that's a week from Brooklyn Bound?
Yeah, November 19th.
November 19th. Okay, cool. November is a great month for I was gonna say for the Hegum, but the Hegum maybe there's a lot of cool things for you, a lot of cool things for Suyeon.
Right. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Will you tell me about I'd love to hear more about your Brooklyn Bound set. I know there's some music you've composed that is gonna be on the set, and is it Michael Gordon? You're
Yeah.
doing a Michael Gordon piece? Awesome. Will you tell us about it?
Yeah. So I'm gonna play Michael Gordon's piece. The title is "Light Is Calling." And first, it's that piece is a solo hegum and electronic backing track. So originally, it is composed for violin and their violin ensemble version, and also when I first heard this piece, it was a Bang on a Can Summer Festival 2016,
Mm.
and Bang
Did
on a
Todd Reynolds play? I can imagine. I think I've seen Todd Reynolds play a solo version.
uh,
Was it Todd or
but
no?
yeah, there's a Todd's version.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he premiered
Mm.
this, but when I first heard, it was Ashley Bethgate, the cello.
Oh, cool.
It was her recital at the Mass Mocha,
Yeah.
and when I first heard that piece, I immediately thought, oh, I really love to play with Hagen. Then
Awesome.
last year, I went back to Bangor Ken again for the summer festival. Then, yeah, I played this piece in my recital there.
Awesome. That's great. That's very cool. So are there backing track? Is it the solo and then did you make your own
Oh
Hegum
no,
tracks or you play with electronics?
yeah, with electronics
Got
backing
it. Okay,
track.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then so I always wanted to make a music video because still a lot of people haven't seen or heard Hegum sound,
Yeah.
and I like this piece very much. And so over the summer when I was in Korea, and I made this music video, and today at the Brooklyn Bound, it's gonna be premiered, world premiere.
Awesome. That's great. I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited. Well, very cool. And then the piece of yours is a duo. Eric's gonna play with you, right?
Mhm.
So cool. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, Eric played vibraphone, and then yeah, I played Hegum.
Mm.
And actually, our duo I named no name duo. Can you name us?
Did Eric say you had to name us? No name duo. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so help me picture what the piece is gonna be. If if I'm watching Brooklyn Bound, I'm gonna see vibraphone and Hegum. And
Mhm.
did you write the piece? How much? I know in your writing, I think what you said is maybe with this piece there's some improvisation, but also it's some mixture. How does it work?
Mhm. So the Eric's part is mostly written out. Mhm. And then
Good call.
yeah. So we recorded his part first, and then I play on top of it.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear it. Um, when you asked one of us to play, I so much wanted to play, and I couldn't figure out where I was going to get on a vibraphone because in my room here, I keep bringing more instruments, but I don't have a vibraphone. So I'm really glad. Eric, I think, recorded from the our studio in Brooklyn, which is cool. Someday when we can see each other, Suyeon, we'll have to hang out there and make some music
Yeah.
together.
Mhm.
Um, well, cool. That's so great. I'm very very excited to hear both these pieces. I love Michael Gordon's music so much. I was thinking about that, and actually the thing I heard first of well, maybe not the piece I heard first, but the piece that I remember hearing first and being like Oh my gosh, what is this? Was a cello solo also was Industry. Do you know Industry?
Mhm.
I could imagine a Hagem version of Industry would be amazing, actually. But it's like lots of cellos. You know, it's like solo cello with lots of cellos, and it's
Mhm.
one of those pieces where like I remember where I was when I heard it the first time, and so I'm so excited to hear his music. Um, I'm very excited to hear two premieres of yours 2 weeks or 1 week apart. It's so wonderful. I'm very excited about it. Um, well, I think usually I have two more questions to ask, but I already asked you about your process during this crazy COVID time.
Mhm.
But my last question
Mhm.
that I always ask, sometimes it can be more fun or maybe meaningful. Thinking about a concert experience you've had, because right now all of our concert experiences are online, and we'll all be there on November 12th, and we'll be typing in the chat together, experiencing music, which is great. But we all miss concerts together, you know, and I know, you know, for so I don't know if I've shared any of our concert experiences that we always talk about. Usually, you know, the funny, strange things that happen to us on stage, or sometimes the amazing concerts we've given, or, you know, so do you have a memory of, it could be a wonderful concert experience, or, you
Oh.
know, the time where, you know, your bow broke and you had to finish just with, you know, whatever your kind of, a fun experience or two that you could share.
Oh yeah, one experience was it was in 2004 because the piece's title was Hegem Solo 2004.
Oh, nice. So you know.
Yeah. So it was written by Korean composer Seung Kim, and then I premiered that piece as a mass. At the time, I was a graduate student, and then I played one to probably third time on the stage. I think the music stand was broken, so it's
Oh,
gradually like I don't know, and then eventually at the second movement, the my music so fell on the stage.
like the stand was just moving like
Yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
So then
So
what did you do? As a performer, what do you do then?
I
Do you,
think, oh, probably it was my first improvisation.
yeah,
Probably.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I always say, oh my, I started to improvise when I moved to America, but probably not.
yeah. Probably it was then that you first improvised.
Yeah, and then I heard all the audience. It was very small, like a concert hall. The yeah, the people, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another percussionist. It's a duo piece. It's accompaniment
Yeah.
accompanied by the jangu hourglass shaped the drum.
Mm,
And then I think he was more nervous than me.
I'm sure.
He started to improvise first. Honestly, I think I almost memorized the piece, but
Uh,
he improvised the first.
he was telling you it's like it's okay, we'll make it up and we'll finish it.
Yeah, but I think yeah, I memorized and almost I was kind of yeah, yeah,
You're okay to just
yeah.
play the piece.
I was okay. Yeah.
I always think about I'm not sure. Whenever I ask this question, I go through all the fun stories that I have in my head about when I used to be able to play concerts with So. And I don't know if I've mentioned this story to you or at Soci or on Brooklyn Bound, but I always think we have this very memorable experience where,
Mhm.
um, too long a story to tell really, but on stage there were no risers and we needed to be raised. But there was this strange house was built on the stage
Uh-huh.
because it was like they did a play there or something, and there was like a house on the stage. And so there was a ladder you could climb up. And so we were playing a piece, we like climbed up the ladder and we were on top of the roof
Uh-huh.
playing some David Lang music on these flower pots.
Mhm.
And Eric hit his flower, he never ever hit a flower pot off of a table before, but we were like 20 feet in the air and he hits the flower top pot and it just tumbles and tumbles and tumbles and smashes on the ground,
Oh
and the
no.
audience starts laughing, and you know, I'm standing next to him, like, what are we gonna do?
Uh-huh.
So I start taking all my instruments and smashing them on the ground, you know, thinking like, let's just improvise and get out of this, you know. But Adam and Josh,
Uh-huh.
their impulse was like, what are you doing? We're gonna finish this piece. And so I was like, oh no, what are we doing? And so
Oh.
we started to try to play the piece again. And every time Eric went to play that instrument, he had nothing to play. And the audience just laughed. Every time he went to hit the instrument, it's like, ah. But
Oh,
it just made me think of it like, what's your instinct in that moment as a
uh-huh.
performer?
Uh-huh.
And is it to just like improvise your way out of it, you know? And
Oh, oh, I remember one more episode.
yeah, that's what I love.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
please.
it's a more funny story because I was a member at the orchestra, and then in Korea we have a Children's Day. So that day usually, yeah, it's just most of it the no school and no work. It's like a holiday.
Mm,
So parents take their kids to amusement park or go out to eat, but because I have to perform the children's musical,
mm.
so I have a son, and then at the time he was just a 3 year old, so he always had to come and see that, and then no
Oh.
other plans, but
On Kids Day, he's like, wait a minute, come on, mom, that's not fair.
and then because he and then every we it was very popular musical, so we played same musical for whole week and also 5 years in a row, stuff like that. And then later on, he just he got a he became a spoiler before, so so he shouted, "I know this person's name is blah blah." And then I got so scared. Oh,
Oh
he's
no.
in big trouble, and all my the co-workers kind of, "Oh, your son."
That's great.
Yeah.
He knew it so well. He's like, I've been here 3 years in a row. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've Kids Day makes a lot of sense to me,
Mm.
right? Like I think that'd be really, we should figure that out. I have kids too, Suyeon, so we can come up with a Kids Day together and see if our friends will join in. I like that. I like that idea.
Cool.
Well, thanks for sharing multiple stories. I really, I've enjoyed a lot of this music making during COVID. I've actually really enjoyed like you jumping in on some of the Go Placidly music. It's really wonderful to make new friends in this moment musically.
Mhm.
But I miss being on stage and playing music for people, and so it's really nice to hear those stories. Well, thank you for talking with me, and sharing where you're coming from. And anybody who's interested, if you're getting this um, in a timely fashion, the show is November 12th.
Mhm.
It's a 7 p.m. show. That's going
Mhm.
to be earlier for you, so you're on the West Coast. It's be
Yeah.
4 p.m.
Mhm.
West Coast time, 7 p.m. East Coast time.
Mhm.
I hope you'll, if you can be there, so you'll be in the chat on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching it. Maybe I'll be on YouTube. Maybe you'll be on YouTube with me. Maybe.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So if you have any Hegum questions, you can pop them in the chat on YouTube, and experience some music together. But
Sure.
I will see
I'll be
you there.
there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you'll be there.
Mhm.
It's such a funny concert life but it's actually kind of no stress, right? You just show up on YouTube,
Uh-huh.
say hey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interact is always good.
yeah, exactly right. You know what's gonna happen before it
Yeah.
happens. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's good. It's nice to get together and experience some music together.
Right.
Well, thanks for chatting, Suyeon, very much, and thanks for hanging in on Zoom when I got kicked out. I can't wait to see what that looks like. You're like, Jason,
Thank
where'd you go, man? Where'd you go?
thank you for having me, and take take care of yourself.
Absolutely. You take care of yourself too. I'll see you in about a week.
Mhm.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.